Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope you're having a great start to 2024. And welcome to So What? It's our first So What of the new year. Super exciting. I have some, let's say, things to share with you, of course, here on So What, as usual. I'm trying to get organized for the new year so that I can clear out the old, welcome in the new, and be ready to sew at any time when the inspiration strikes. So I welcome all the organization tips. Whatever you have for me, for everyone else here, please put it in the live chat and in the comments so that we can all benefit from your expertise. I'm always getting new sort of bins and different kinds of organizational tools to try and just corral everything that I have in this room here. And inevitably throughout the year, it morphs and changes and I misplace things all the time. That's why I have to have 3 pairs of my favorite curved tip squeezers because I, need to be able to find them. So I stash them in different places. My greatest fear as I start organizing this room for 2024 and beyond is that once I organize, I can never remember what I did with everything and where it is. So please share with me your best organizational tools. I'm going to talk about some products, notions, things like that I think are great to sort of restock our sewing spaces for the coming year so that we're ready for anything. So I'm going to give you my favorite products that I like to always have on hand. And hopefully that helps you so that when we are going through these so whats and kits and projects and events, we have at least a few things on hand we can always grab if we're missing something that we need while we're going through a project. Because really, there's nothing worse than finally being ready to sew, thinking you have everything, and you get to step 5 or step 20, or God forbid, the last step, and you don't have that special thing that you need or want, to finish up your project. So, wow, Sue says, I just put everything away when I'm done sewing each day. That is so simple. I wish I could do that. I just have so many works in progress. I'm working on 6 things at once here in Sulky Land. So it's really hard for me to put everything away and just focus on one project at a time. I wish I could do that. But I'm sure that would keep me a lot more organized. Jana says, Sue must be a superwoman. That's right. I would give you a round of applause, Sue, but I seem to have lost that. Oh, nope, here it is. Giving it up for Sue. Let's see. Barb says, I'm in the midst of purging, so I'm listening for suggestions. Angela also needs some good organizing tips. Let's see. Connie says, how about writing an index that lists everything and where you put it? See, my problem is I would probably forget where I put the index, or it would be lost in a bunch of Google, documents. Man, I'm really just sounding like a total mess. I will say, though, I do have a couple of tricks up my sleeve. For example, as I look around, I have these pegboards on the wall that I'm facing you every week. They used to be behind me, but they got so full of things that it was kind of distracting to be behind me here on So What in these videos. So I have it in front of me, and it's quite helpful actually when I'm talking to you, and I can kind of look over at some things that kind of trigger what I want to share with you. But the pegboards are really great. I got them at IKEA. They're kind of a plasticky sort of pegboard. I actually see a lot of sewers using these in their sewing rooms because they have a lot of accessories or like different types of hooks you could put on them. So I have the whole line of organ needles on one pegboard. I have some little inset like bookshelf type things where I keep my sulky iron-on transfer pens, my pin cushions. I have one that has a little box of small rotary cutters because I keep my larger ones kind of right on the cutting table ready to go. But all the smaller ones that I have are corralled in a little thing. So, I mean, I'm semi-organized, we'll say. I also have another pegboard to the right of me that has, I think they're holders for like wine bottles or for paper towels, rolls of things, right? I slip my larger rolls of stabilizer in there. So they're just sitting, stacked on top of each other. And I apologize, I don't have pictures of these while I'm talking about them. But I think that's my greatest organizational feat is getting things on the walls so that I can easily grab them and see what I have. That is really important for me because if it's put away in a drawer or something like that, oh man, do the drawers get just wickedly unorganized or disorganized quickly. Am I right? I try to even label the drawers so that I know what's in them. But inevitably, especially when I'm doing a demo, I'll just start throwing things in a drawer when I'm done talking about them. And then all is lost. All is lost. So we're going to tackle this together today. Let's see. I organize best when I just get up in the morning. There you go. Colleen says, I always feel so disorganized. Too many projects going at once. I getcha. Brenda says, my sewing house is a disaster. Yeah, I think that, sorry, Jana says, sadly, the only thing that seems to work for me is to have less stuff in general. Yes, so it might be, good to purge. I find starting with the fabric stash is really key. Really having a handle on that because we always want to buy more fabric. We always want to buy more kits. We always want to make more stuff. And we never want to throw away the little bits and odds and ends and the cutoffs of the extra fabric that we bought. So I think that's a great place to start is grab up everything that's in your fabric stash, lay it all out in maybe a guest room that you have. Hopefully, you don't have your holiday guests still, or maybe you do and you're lucky and they've stuck around. But maybe your guest room or even just your bedroom, because then you'll be motivated to actually finish because, you want to go to sleep tonight. But at any rate, find like a whole room where you can like spread it out, maybe even color code your fabric stash. If you're super organized and have a lot of time or want to be super organized, you can even take inventory of the amount you have left and put it on a little sticky note. And that way, when you're going through a project and you need 2 yards of something, you have that. Or you need a 10-inch square, you've got a 10-inch by width of fabric strip over here, something like this. I would love it if I could do that. But I will say, I purge my fabric stash quite frequently because if I did not, this whole room would be piled up with fabric. I think that is the biggest thorn in my side is figuring out where and how to store all these fabrics. I have a tall bookshelf that I got those plastic bins and I got see-through ones. And I folded up a bunch of fabric. I actually did this last New Year's. Folded up a lot of the fabric stash where I knew they were actual usable fabric yardages, not just scraps. And then I took a large basket oh man, I can't even lift this one. A large basket that you would maybe use to put your throw blankets in, that type of thing. And filled it with all of the odds and ends and scraps. Okay, so you can also create little fabric grab bags for your friends that sew, gift them out, and maybe do a sew-in together and figure out what to do with these scraps. Because I get it. We don't want to throw these away. What a waste, and it's really fun to make like fabric collages, even fabric decoupage things. So you can get really creative with those scraps, but I think tackling that fabric stash is number one to feeling organized. When you've got just piles of fabric and older fabrics and, things that are maybe an outlandish print that nothing you have seems to go with it, I think that that's just a really important like beginner step, because then you could start to corral your tools, maybe organize them by what they're used for, put all the scissors in a, little cute little box or something. I find that the bathroom organization area of stores like Target, what have you, big box stores, they have really great clear storage things for the bathroom. Some of them are even on like a Lazy Susan type situation, so you can roll it around. Those are awesome for having at your work table with your scissors, your rotary cutter, your KK2000, the things that you use all the time, your little favorite tools, stuff like that, so that it always has a home and it's right there on your cutting table. And then you can pick that up and easily like move it over to your sewing machine, that type of thing. I also, of course, love decorative storage. As you can see, I picked up these cute little cake holders in the dollar bins. Speaking of Target, whenever I find them, and they come out a lot at Valentine's Day time, so they might even have some cute ones right now, little hearts on them or what have you. 2-tiered cake plates, they're pretty flimsy, but I think they're so cute for putting your thread spools on, for putting a pin cushion on, for putting your sewing clips, things like that. It's like decorative storage, but that stuff always has a little place. And just like the movable caddy from the bathroom section, you could pick it up, move it. You could swap out your thread colors for, let's say, the embroidery design or the project that you're working on at the time, and then put those away in, a better storage situation and swap them out for the next project. So that's also a great idea. And it's cute because we all want our spaces to also have a look, right? We're creative people and we need to be inspired by the stuff around us as well. If we are trying to sew with, huge storage bins all surrounding us and we feel cramped like we're in a dungeon, then what kind of creativity are we going to output, right? And I know a lot of us are, really limited in the spaces where we can sew. So we want that to feel homey and inspiring. So a little bit of decorative storage helps in that regard as well. All right. Brenda says, I got a metal tool cabinet for thread and storage. My thread was always a dusty mess. That is a good point. Keeping your thread dust and lint and debris free is very important. And I'm going to talk about that as a storage solution and also as a stock up solution as well, as we move forward today. Susan says, my sewing room is small. 2 walls have steel shelving holding my fabric totes. 1 wall has my tables with my dream machine and serger plus dresser that holds sewing items. The other wall is a closet and a door. Well, it sounds like you have really taken charge of the space and figured out something that works for you. It is really hard when we have these space constraints. I have nowhere in this room to put my full-size ironing board. It's really kind of annoying. So when I pull it out, I have to move this entire camera setup and put it in the middle of my room to use my whole ironing board. Like if I want to press a quilt top, it's super annoying. So I normally take it to another room to do the pressing and then I have to come back to the sewing machine. It just kind of adds another step, but at least it's a solution. But in the corner of my room, I have a small pressing station with a steam iron, and I've got a small tabletop ironing board like you would get at IKEA for a dorm room or something like that, or just a small space area. And then I also have my wool pressing mat with a small craft iron. So I have different pressing solutions, which again requires more space and more organization. So yeah, pegboards are really cool. Let me see. I really don't want to turn my camera around. There's so much clutter in here from our New Year's Eve event. Let's see. I don't even know how I would turn the camera around at this point. I apologize. See if I can find, though, a picture of them in use, because they are really great. And I know IKEA still carries them. And you can get them in some different sizes as well. They're pretty fun to put together, actually, to figure out which kind of hooks you want where. So shame on me for telling you about something that I can't find, or that I can't show you, rather. All right, so I'm going to just take a screenshot of this and you'll get the idea. So this is from the IKEA website. This is what my pegboards look like, but all the little accoutrements on there, the little cups and the little shelf and the little hooks, all of those are like separate purchases, but it looks like they do have combinations now. So if you like all the stuff that's on this pegboard that I'm showing you, you can buy a pegboard combination, or you can just buy the pegboards alone. And they have a couple different finishes as well. You can get a wood look, you can get this white look, and it looks like they also have kind of a steel gray look too. Ooh, and they also have freestanding ones now. So if you don't have wall space, you can get one that's freestanding and move it around. That is kind of cool. That definitely was not available when I got mine, but I love that I have mine on the wall. And they're easily adjustable too. So if you don't get it perfectly straight, you can kind of adjust the backing of it instead of taking all of, the hardware off, patching the holes and putting it back up. Ugh, so annoying. So it's kind of neat. Yeah, so they have some different combinations that come with different hooks. There's also some clips that you can put on here. I like to clip on like the pattern that I'm working on, the pattern front or the pattern back, especially if I have to do a lot of cutting on a particular pattern. I like to put that on the little clip, and then it's right in front of me on top of my cutting surface. So that's really handy. Oh, and here's a great picture of it in use, and it actually looks like kind of a crafting or art situation that they have on their website. Again, I'm completely taking these off of the IKEA.com website, so thank you, IKEA. But you could see all the different, this is all color coordinated. I don't know how long that would last in my space, but these are really awesome for your sewing area. The hooks are great for our organ needle packs. I have all of mine. I have all the embroidery needles and all the sizes on one, all the quilting needles, universals, so I can just sift through them and get the right needle that I need so that I can share with you all the correct needles to use for all of your sulky threads. It's just super duper handy. All right. So, even if you were an artist or, not necessarily a sewer, this is a really great storage solution, or even like by your back door where you might have a calendar and your keys and, instead of having a junk drawer, you can organize that stuff on a pegboard. Super handy. All right. So I hope that was helpful, since I couldn't show you my particular space right now since it's on the other side of this camera. But hopefully that's helpful. All right. Noreen says, I installed mail slot cabinets in which I put a lot of stuff. Now I have to clean them out and start again. Learning how to let go of things I just don't use anymore. I know that is the hardest part. yeah, purging and, and that's my other problem is I will be like, I haven't used this XYZ in 3 years. I'm getting rid of it. And then wouldn't you know it, a week goes by and I'm like, where is that thing that I thought I would never use? Because now I want to use it. So, oh, it's such a struggle. Such a struggle. All right. Lots of people are giving their ideas for organization. This is so awesome. Love it. Keep them coming. Joan says, yep, as soon as you throw it away is when you need it the next day. Exactly. Patrick, I have over 50 totes of fabric. I sort them by clothing and quilting. Amazing. Love that. You're ready to go. All right. There's so many comments. I just can't even read through all of them, but thank you so much. Ooh, a drop-down ironing board that's hidden behind a mirror. Isn't that the coolest thing? That is a great solution. Stackable storage drawers, all kinds of things. Well, let me get to my sort of top 10 sewing supplies that I think are helpful for all of us as we dive into a new year and want to be ready to go when inspiration strikes in the sewing room. But before we get started with that, actually, I do want to give a shout out to Jessica Barrera of Sally Tomato for joining me on this year's New Year's Eve sew-along. A couple of days ago, we went live. We had our 4-hour sew-along event of the year, and it was so great to see a lot of your names. A lot of you showed up for the live stream, and we spent New Year's Eve together making the Veronica bag. And I just wanted to recap a little bit and show you my bag. If you did miss the sew-along, you can still register for it, and the event is now recorded for everyone to see. So once you register, you'll be able to just start watching whenever you want. You can pause and rewind and fast forward. And when you register, you'll get the Veronica bag pattern valued at $9.99. You also get an embroidery design collection courtesy of Parker on the Porch. Love them. That's valued at over $20. So it's like a $30 plus value that you get for this sew along. Plus you get our 4-hour video. Jessica's camera angle wasn't let's just say a few people were disappointed in the camera angle of the sewing because, when we're streaming and we're both in different time zones and different places using different equipment, and we're coming to you live. So there's a lot of camera switching that has to go on, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I will just come clean and tell you, her and I are the only ones there for New Year's Eve. So we have each other, and that's it. And we've got to manage the comments, and we've got to, sew for you live on camera with multiple cameras. So it is a lot, and we really, really try our hardest to bring you the absolute best we possibly can. So that being said, if anyone needed to see a little bit more of the sewing of the actual bag, other than just the machine shot, Jessica has kindly offered to film a total tutorial that is just her hands with the fabrics, so you have a little bit better view of the Veronica bag being constructed. And when that is available, I will notify all registrants of the event. You will get an email saying that video is up on the event page, and you can go back and watch it in its entirety, maybe make another Veronica bag. So you'll have lots of resources at your fingertips and for your eyeballs to guide you through the project. But you might be able to see my bag right here sitting behind me. Another thing that people were saying, there were so many gracious viewers who said they absolutely loved it. And that this is their 4th time they've done a sew along. So really, really fun that we have this tradition going. It's my favorite thing to do on New Year's Eve. I would much rather be sewing with all of you than cleaning my house or getting rid of Christmas, decorations. So, any rate, another thing people were saying was it was really hard to keep up. And honestly, we hear this every year. It's a 4-hour event, and we really want you to be able to sew it from start to finish. But we definitely understand that there are people of totally different sewing abilities using completely different machines. And to be quite honest, if your bobbin runs out, or if you make a slight mistake and have to rip out a seam, you're going to fall behind. I mean, it's the nature of what it is. We're coming to you live, and we have to keep a steady pace to stay within that 4-hour time slot. We don't want to do an 8-hour class and maybe you've got to run out for a couple of hours and run an errand and, like things like this. It's kind of, it just makes it too long to be together. Plus, I'm not even sure if I can stream for 8 hours straight. Then I would really start having some bandwidth issues probably. So we try to keep it within 4 hours, but that's why the video is always available for you. So you can pause. You can even pause the live stream, rip out your seams, catch up, press play, and then keep going with us. So there are a lot of options for different skill levels, and if you have issues, things like that. Anyways, I couldn't keep up at all because I was answering questions and I was switching cameras and, doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff when I wasn't presenting. But I was able to finish my bag a couple hours after the event. So basically what happens, if you would like a behind the scenes sort of, the making of the 2023 New Year's Eve sew along, if you want some insider info, what happens after the event is the recording is generated, and then I have to upload it to our event platform. And it being a 4-hour streaming video, it takes quite a while to upload to the platform itself. This year, it took almost an hour to upload the footage to the event page. So during that hour, while it was uploading and while I was monitoring that, I was finishing making my bag. Then after that, I upload the presentation to the platform so everybody has the slide deck that we go through as another additional resource. And that takes about 20 minutes to upload to the platform because, it was a long slide deck presentation as well. So all that to say, all of the, things I did after the event, I also was making my bag. So I finished my Veronica bag. I added the flat fill embroidery to mine because for the embroidery tutorial, I showed how to do the flat fill design, this one right here. You could also add it to the flap right here, really cute. You had your choice of a lightning bolt, a mix tape, or a roller skate design. So that's the one that I did during the class. I also taught how to create the little charms. Here's the lightning bolt charm that we created during the event. There's also a roller skate and that mix tape again. So we did one of the charms on this cool gate ring. This opens up really cool. It's really easy to use, so much easier than a key ring and breaking your nails and all that stuff on a key ring. So I'll go ahead and put my gate ring, gild the lily and put all of my things on my bag. So you can just insert your little insert this on your little D-ring and have a little charm on your bag. Look at all the lightning bolts I have going on. It might be overkill at this point, but, just showing you all the options. And then I also showed how to create the snap tabs. So you had 3 versions of the snap tab as well. This one, you could put on just about anything, or keep it alone and add it, add your keys to it, whatever. So lots of options for embroidery. But I love the style of this bag. It was actually a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be by looking at the pictures. But I love the size of it. So you have our front angled flap that has this zipper closure so you can put lots of stuff in here. It's pretty cool how this is constructed because you're using the raw edge of your fabric. That's why you want to use a no fray fabric like this micro suede or cork fabric or faux leather. This pocket is not lined, so you also want something that has a nice backing to it. And this particular micro suede has this really nice sort of fuzzy backing to it, so it feels finished on the inside. So this flap is constructed separately and constructed first, and then you've got your center front and center back seam. So your front exterior pieces are actually folded around and then constructed down the center rather than having a side seam. It's really cool how it's constructed. And then you have your decorative Chicago screws down the side, and this loops around to hold your hardware at the top. You can either create an adjustable strap like I did, so you can adjust the length of this, have it crossbody or a shoulder bag or etc. Or you can create a little handle instead if you want just a little smaller handbag. And then on the inside, so pretty. Everything has finished edges, and you've got your pocket in here, slip pocket. So a really great little bag, and I'm so glad that I'm done. Oh yeah, there's a pocket on the back side too. This is also constructed pretty neatly because you have that center back seam. And so you kind of start and stop stitching on either side of your zipper placement. Then you insert your zipper and top stitch. And again, these are the raw edges of the fabric, but this pocket is fully lined. So really neat project. Had a blast with you all sewing on New Year's Eve. Yeah. And I felt really accomplished. Like, wow, I've already completed something, and we're starting a new year. All right. Leslie says the blue is so pretty. Bag looks great. Thank you. Crystal says she's making the bag 1 inch wider and a 1/2 inch taller. Very smart. All right. Let's see. Lots of nice bags on Sally Tomato with other designs. Totally. Yeah, so I'm glad that you guys enjoyed. You could have a handle and the strap and detach it. Sometimes that would be cool. Yes, giving yourself lots of options for how to wear it. Depending on, where you're going, what you're doing. Dawn says, finished my bag yesterday morning. Nice. Sharon says, I enjoyed the New Year's Eve event. Perfect. All right. Donna says, mine's not quite done yet. Well, you still have time. Of course, we have all the time in the world, right? But I hope that you're at the home stretch and you will feel very accomplished as well. All right, so that's New Year's Eve. Another one in the books. I can't wait to see what we come up with for next year because we're already planning. That's how far ahead we plan. And it's really great that we get all the suggestions from the live chat from all of you so that we can improve on next year's event. And every single time we do one of these, it gets better and better. And the designs get, just better and better. I don't know any other way to describe it, but super fun. All right. Oh, yes, Betsy, thank you for saying that. She says you can see some finished bags on the Sulky Facebook page. And actually, I saw your bag. So, Betsy, I believe you are the one that posted the picture where instead of using the angled flap shape or the angled shape on the flap, she curved it around so it was symmetrical and inserted her zipper, horizontally. And she added a magnetic snap as well. So when it closes, it is nice and secure. And I loved your fabric choice as well. It was so cool. So that's on our Sulky Facebook page. And I know there's a lot more finished bags being posted on our Facebook group, which is called Sulky Stitch and Post. So you can head over there and check out all the finished bags, or a lot of them actually. They're still coming in. And I love the modifications. I love seeing what people do and their take on it. So that's really neat. All right. Connie says, where can I get more of the Chicago screws? So these Chicago screws are available at sallytomato.com, and they come in lots of different finishes as well. You can get rose gold. This is the nickel finish. Then we also had the gunmetal finish for the gray bag, and antique gold, I believe, as well. So they come in lots of different finishes, so you can coordinate with your bag hardware and then coordinate your zippers and all that. So those are at sallytomato.com. They come in packs of like 12, I want to say, something like that. So you get quite a few. And you can also use them when you're making your strap. You can put another little Chicago screw instead of doing the top stitching. To secure this, you can punch a hole in both sides of the snap and put your Chicago screw right there. And it's a nice little finishing touch. And then you don't have to stitch through all this bulk on this part of your strap. And it looks really finished and nice. So that's another, this little place where you can put that Chicago screw. It's kind of cool. All right, my bag's falling over. All right, so New Year's Eve, if you want to register and you missed it, you still can over at sewingonline.sulky.com. And you can watch everything right now. It's ready to go and it's loaded on that platform. The pattern is there. The embroidery designs are there. So you can register and get everything that you need and start off your New Year's Eve by making the Veronica bag. Also over at sewingonline.sulky.com is our lovely earrings webcast. This is going to be a live event happening on January 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Is that just a week away? Whew, man, telling you, we're starting off the new year with a bang. So Sheila Ryan of Designs by Baby Moon is going to be joining us live 2 p.m. Eastern time over at sewingonline.sulky.com. We're going to learn how to make these earrings in the hoop of our embroidery machines. And she has created an exclusive earring collection for our kit. Now, just by registering for the webcast, you will get one free earrings design. It's one little heart, and you can use it. You can stitch it out 3 times and do a dangly heart earring. You can do a number of things. You can stitch out one of them and make little studs. But at any rate, so you will get that one to practice with. But she created an entire collection of 9 different earring designs for our webcast kit. So the kit comes with that design collection. It also comes with Sulky Fabrisolve stabilizer, a pack of embroidery needles, all these beautiful Sulky colors in really great colors for spring, for Valentine's Day and beyond, and then lots of different earring hardware. Sheila is going to show us how to use these designs. First off, how to stitch them out. Secondly, how to combine different design elements to make different dangles or different earring types. That way you can mix and match and make the earrings that you want to make. These make excellent gifts. Think Mother's Day, birthdays, of course, Valentine's Day, all types of holidays. These would be great gifts for. They're really just fun to wear as well. I've made a few of her earrings. And, you know, they're all made out of thread. It's very impressive when you wear them out and about. So for the earring hardware, you will get some hooks. You will also get some studs that have a little loop on them so that you can attach your freestanding lace pieces. And then you will get a bunch of jump rings so that if you do want to mix and match different elements or add some thread tassels, all kinds of fun things, you can use the jump rings to make that happen. So we're going to be learning a lot during this webcast. It's next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be going live right after the So What that day. So I want you to be prepared. Grab up a kit. They're on sale for only $39.99. They will only be on sale until the day of the event. So you want to be sure to take advantage of the special pricing for that. The design collection alone is $19. So for like $10 more, wait, yeah, $10, $20 more. I can do math, I promise. For $20 more, you're getting the whole kit and all that earring hardware, everything's ready to go for you. So it's a really, really great kit, great webcast. Sheila is so fun. You'll love her teaching style. She just makes everything seem so easy. Not to mention, shout out to her for creating something completely exclusive for all of us. I just love that, right? Lovely earrings. Don't miss it. Make sure you register. I linked to register in the description of today's post, so you can click right on over. Leslie says, I'm ready to go. Registered and got my kit. Brenda is already registered. Fantastic. Brenda says, I love to make earrings. I don't wear them, but I like to share them. Love that too. Elizabeth says, can't wait for the earrings as well. All right. Sounds like everybody's ready to go on that. So let's go ahead and talk about our sewing supplies that we need to have in the new year so that we are ready to go. So once we organize and figure out what we do have, we can kind of see where we're lacking or what we might need to restock our space and make sure that we are ready to go for whatever project we want to make. So first off, I love that my little farmer's market over the summer has a knife sharpening guy, and you can bring all of your scissors to him and he will sharpen them for you for a fee. Now, I think it's completely worth it because it makes your scissors last so much longer. You don't have to keep buying more scissors. And it's just good practice to do that every so often. Now, what to do if you don't have a farmer's market because it's snowing now and they don't have them? You can look around to other knife sharpeners. Some sewing machine dealers also offer a scissor sharpening service. So call around and see if you can do that. Also, rotary cutters. Let's not forget about those. Now, we can't sharpen these blades, but you can buy blade replacements for your rotary cutter. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy a new rotary cutter. You can buy replacement blades. And if you can't remember the last time you replaced your rotary blade, let's do it for the new year. So follow the directions that either came with the packaging of your rotary cutter, or you can go online to whoever manufactured your rotary cutter, whether it's Havells, Olfa, Fiskars, etc. Go on their website and look up the rotary cutter that you have and figure out what blade you need as a replacement. They usually come in like packs of 4 or 6 even, depending on the rotary cutter size. And I love this particular rotary cutter because it's really easy to swap out the blade. You basically do it with a click of your thumb and the blade will come out. You could put the new one in, snap the front on, it's ready to go. Yep. Jenny says, I remember, cut myself. Yes, it's, you need to be careful. Maybe wear some protective gloves just in case, because rotary cutters are so sharp. That's why we love them, but we want them to stay really sharp. So definitely just replace them if you can't remember the last time that you did it. It's probably good practice to replace them every 6 months or so, especially, or just replace them when you notice you're not getting a clean cut. There's nothing worse than you're cutting binding, right? And then there's one spot that keeps catching. Well, that's because there's a little nick or something on your rotary blade. So just swap that out and you'll have smooth sailing. And it just, gives you a better experience while you're sewing, less frustration, more time to actually enjoy the process rather than going back and clipping all those little places that your rotary blade missed. So that's my number one tip, is either get a new rotary cutter if yours is, quite old or it's sticking or you're unable to swap out the blade, or get some replacement rotary blades and swap those out. And be sure to dispose of the old ones in a way that is, not harmful for whoever is picking up your trash, that type of thing. All right, rotary blades. Next up, we want to make sure that our iron is in tip-top shape. And I absolutely love this iron cleaner. I love it so much that that's the reason it is at sulky.com, because I said, listen, we got to have this. People need this in their lives. It's the easiest iron cleaner to use, and you don't even need to use it that often unless you have some kind of, let's say, fusing accident and you muck up your sole plate of your iron, then you would want to use it right away. But just like replacing your blades in your rotary cutter, I would clean the iron maybe every 3 to 6 months, something like that, depending on, how often it's used or how often, like I said, if you have some kind of accident or something gets on there, then you want to kind of clean it immediately. So the way this stuff works is you squeeze a little bit, a little goes a long way, onto like an old washcloth, let's say, or an old towel that you don't care about anymore. Squeeze it on the towel, and then all you do is iron over the top of it. Use a dry iron, no steam, and the cleaner will get on the sole plate wherever you have a little spot. You want to kind of concentrate on that area. It will clean it so well, the thing looks brand new. You will be so happy with yourself once it is gone, or once you've gone through the process. So really great. This is relatively inexpensive. You get 2 little travel size sort of bottles of this. A little goes a long way. So this is going to last you a little while. And I like the 2 bottles because, they stay fresher that way, right? And yes, Connie, you use a hot iron on it, maybe medium to even hot temp. So you want to make sure the towel that you're putting it on can withstand the heat of an iron. You don't want to obviously melt the towel to your iron. Now you've got another problem. So make sure you're using, a fabric that can withstand the heat of that iron. So yes, really great. Sorry, I just noticed some of the comments coming in about seam rippers, wrapping the used blade in masking tape. That's a great idea. Brenda says, don't forget to clean your ironing board cover too. Great idea. Take that puppy off, put it in the washing machine if you can. If you can't, spot clean it. That's a really great tip as well to stay organized and to stay nice and neat and tidy as well as organized. All right, so faultless iron cleaner, love that stuff. Stocking up on our needles. So we have this great needle assortment pack at sulky.com, and it has 5 packs of our best-selling needles. There's quilting needles, microtex needles, top stitch needles, universals, and embroidery needles. You can grab up the assortment pack for a much better price than grabbing these up individually. And then you have all these types with different sizes included at hand. You can put them on your new pegboard if you're doing a pegboard, but these are really great to just stock up on so that when you are working with a new fabric or a new thread or a different thread weight, swapping out the thread weights for different projects, you always have the needle you need for that particular project. So this is a really great way to stock up by buying an assortment pack. And it's always good to have extra needles on hand because we really should be changing out our needles with every single project. I kid you not, the most customer service we deal with is people having what they think are thread issues. But what the issue really is that they haven't changed their needle in who knows how long, or they're using the wrong size needle for the thread weight that they have. So the thread ends up shredding or breaking because it can't fit through the needle hole very well while you are sewing, especially at a higher speed. So a lot of the times people, their first instinct is to think something is wrong with the thread. But the first thing I always ask is, when's the last time you changed your needle and what size and type needle are you using? If you are still using the needle that came with your machine, we got problems. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, my next must-have item for your sewing room in 2024 and beyond is a magnetic hoop. These are so amazing. I know you all have heard me talk about these for so long, but magnetic hoops will change your life at the embroidery machine. So if you are looking to invest in something this year for your sewing education, your sewing happiness, invest in a magnetic hoop. Get the largest size that you can afford that works with your machine, and you will not regret it. You will be able to embroider so many other things that you once thought were unhoopable. You'll be able to do full quilts in the hoop, quilting big old blocks, quilting table runners by yourself without sending them out to a long armor. And they look so professional because they are using digitized designs. These are amazing. Brenda says they are on my wish list. Kathy says, I love the magnetic hoops. Norma says that's on my wish list. These hoops are great. Yes, this might be my number one tip for the coming year. And you can find these at sulky.com. All you need to do is put in your brand, make, and model of your machine, and then it will give you a drop-down menu of the sizes of hoops that are compatible with your machine brand. So definitely do that to make sure that the hoop that you get will communicate with your embroidery arm. And it's really just amazing. You snap that thing on your embroidery module, and it knows that you have a 120 by 120 hoop on there. They communicate just like your standard hoops. It's really, really cool. All right. So along with magnetic hoops, it is important to make sure we have some KK2000 on hand at all times. I actually went through mine before I did the New Year's Eve demo because I can't tell you how many times I'll do a live video and I go to spray my stabilizer or spray my fabric, for these snap tabs that are made in the hoop, spray the back of the fabric, put it on the stabilizer, and there's nothing in the can because I've used it all. So I think I am probably the number one person at Sulky. They probably are just like, Ellen, it's a new week. Do you need some more KK? Because I use it for so many things. So great idea to give your bottle just a slight little shake. Make sure there's something in there so that when you are going to baste your quilt, or especially doing a large project like that, you want to make sure that you have some of this on hand. I just, as a general rule, just add it to your order maybe quarterly and just make sure that you have it on hand, depending on how much you use it. All right. Stabilizer. All right. So a lot of the times, especially when we're buying a kit, Sulky will put in, let's say, a yard of the stabilizer that you need for the particular project. That's enough to do a lot of the different projects we kit up. We do have a kit coming up and there's 4 packages of stabilizer included. But a lot of the times you will get what is needed or the amount that's needed for that project. So what about when you want to make it again, or obviously make something else? So a great idea is to buy up an assortment pack of stabilizers. We've got some different assortments. We have a stabilizer assortment for quilting that has quilting in mind. So whether it's a t-shirt quilt or you want to stabilize your quilt for applique, things like that. We have a quilter's assortment pack. This is our embroidery essentials bundle. These are the 5 stabilizers that are the most used at sulky.com. And if you grab up this assortment, you are going to have the type and weight and removal method of stabilizer at hand for pretty much any project. So you'll get our Tear Easy, which is a lightweight tearaway stabilizer, the Solvy stabilizer that we all love to use as a topper for napped fabrics, for towels, things like this. You'll get Totally Stable, which is another tearaway. Soft and sheer, which is a lightweight cutaway we like to use for t-shirts, for in the hoop projects. And then, of course, one of my personal favorites, the Sticky Plus. That is our sticky-backed tearaway adhesive stabilizer. So that's what we're going to use for all of our hoopless embroidery, where we peel off the paper backing inside of the hoop ring and stick our fabric to it. So these are our 5 best sellers at sulky.com. So we bundled them together in a Stabilizers Essentials pack. That way you get a better price because you're buying a bundle, and then you have all these at hand in this great size that works with so many different hoops. All right. Bobbin thread, another thing that's really great to stock up on, because I got to tell you, I'm always running out of bobbin thread. And there's really no sense in using our really, really pretty rayon or poly deco thread in the bobbin unless we're going to see the wrong side of the project, like for a hand towel or something like this. Then we probably want the wrong side to look just as pretty as the right side. So we want to use a more colorful bobbin thread, like our 60 weight poly light thread. Okay. So stocking up on Sulky 60 weight bobbin thread, just so that you have it on hand, you don't run out. You can buy pre-wounds. We have 2 different styles of pre-wounds based on types and brands, makes, and models of machines. The pre-wounds come in black and white and an ecru, like tan color. So you've got your neutrals. Or, of course, you can buy the spools. Now, I am always asking for king spools of bobbin thread for the simple fact that I'm always running out. And the king spools just have a lot more thread on them. So I highly suggest kick it up a notch and go for the king spools of bobbin thread to stock up on. Or if you love working with pre-wounds, grab up some pre-wounds. As you can see, you get, I think, 5 or 6 pre-wound bobbins with each pack. So that's really great to have on hand as well. All right. Kathy says, I got bobbin thread for Christmas. Amazing. Love that. Used my last pre-wound bobbin the other day. I guess I need to do some bobbin winding. Jennifer says, I love the Sulky pre-wound bobbin thread. They're great. Perfect. Oh, Denise, I must have not seen your question. So Denise says, for questions not answered live, will someone respond or should I create a ticket? You can always email us at info@sulky.com if I missed your question or if you didn't get the answer to your question today. That's a good idea because there's so many questions that sometimes it just passes by me. And once it's gone, if 50 people have, said something since your question, I will probably never see it. I try to go through the questions after our so what, so I can answer things directly there. But again, sometimes it's a lot to keep up with. So thank you for that question. And maybe ask your question again so I can see it more recently, because I cannot... I can't find it. I'm sorry. There's so many questions. All right. Let's see. Sean says, pre-wound bobbins save so much time. Thank you for this reminder. Yes. Perfect. Okay. So those are my top 10 things that I like to make sure I have in my sewing room at all times, but especially at the start of a new year when maybe we're making resolutions or we're, my number one resolution every year is to get more organized. So maybe I'll do it one of these years, but I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to say, look, I'm going to do my best. It's a new year, but I can do my best, all the time and choose whatever day I want to start my resolutions. No pressure. Right? We're all in this together. All right. Perfect. So another thing I want to make you all aware of is our Ireland trip with Craft Tours. I know that you have been hearing me talk about this a lot as well. That's because we recently got back from our London tour right around Thanksgiving time, and it was so incredibly amazing, especially to be in London when they are launching the Christmas markets and everybody's, getting all of the holiday decor out. It was just really a magical time. And I was just so lucky to spend that time with a lot of you actually that watch So What. So really appreciate that you wanted to come on that trip with me, and hopefully you will want to come to Ireland as well. This tour, the registrations are going to close in March. Okay, so you have a couple months or a few months to decide if you want to come to Ireland with us. And if you want to register now, you can get on a payment plan so that by the time we leave in July, it's a lot more manageable for you to, get to that point to be able to join us in the summer months. So it's going to be absolutely beautiful. There is so much to see and do on this itinerary. We are going to go to all the quintessential places that everybody wants to see in Ireland, the Cliffs of Moher. We're going to go to like a weaving facility, something like this. I don't have it off of the top of my head right now, but you can head on over to the link I put in the description of today's post and check out our tours in 2024 and beyond. The Ireland tour is coming up first in July. I know that sounds far off, but it's a really great idea to plan ahead, especially if you want to get on that payment plan. And just know that we will close this tour for registrations in March. So I just want everybody to, if you're a little bit interested, you want more information, head on over to Craft Tours, talk to them about it. If you have any questions for me about what, previous tours have been like, or what you might expect on this Ireland tour, please feel free to email info@sulky.com and I can relay my personal experience. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right. So that being said, I hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful start of 2024. I hope the weather is kind to you. I hope everyone in the world is kind to you. It's all about spreading kindness and love out there in the universe. And speaking of love, make sure you join us next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for our Lovely Earrings webcast with Sheila Ryan of Designs by Baby Moon. You won't want to miss this one. We're going to make some really cute earrings using nothing but thread and a little bit of stabilizer. So join us for that. Make sure to grab up your kit while we still have kits available and on sale for the low price of $39.99. You'll get everything that you need to make so many different pairs of earrings, and we'll have a great time together. All right. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you spending your afternoon with me today, and I'll see you next Tuesday for another So What, followed by our webcast over at sewingonline.sulky.com.